This is Ruben, and this is Ship Stories 120. Well, Mike, we are here on board the Ortelius, and this is a ocean-wide polar expedition ship, basically. And you've explained to me during lunch that you have been on board this ship how many days?
33 days.
33 days, and voluntarily. So,
Voluntarily, yes, exactly.
And where did you sail?
So we left New Zealand and we went all the way to the Ross Sea.
Yes.
And from the Ross Sea, we sailed along the coast of Antarctica to the peninsula, and then we came back to the most northern position, which was Ushuaia.
That's the most northern position.
Exactly.
When you are
that was
down
very,
there.
very strange when the captain said, tomorrow we'll reach the northernmost position, which will be Ushuaia.
Ushuaia. And Ushuaia is very well known because a lot of the polar expeditions leave and return in that
Exactly,
port.
yeah.
So this was a very special expedition with 80 guests, you explained to me.
So we had 80 guests and 3 helicopters, which was also very unusual.
Wow, 3 helicopters.
3 helicopters.
Okay.
Yeah. You have seen the ship. Can you imagine where they were? It's unbelievable.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the helideck when we came aboard, and it's not very large.
No, so there was always one helicopter outside, and the 2 others were in the garage, but without the blades.
Ah, okay. Wow, and what did you use the helicopters for?
So they brought us to areas which are not reachable by Zodiac. So right, for instance, in the Ross Sea, we went to the dry valleys, which is really something you can only go there by helicopter.
Ah, okay. And then passengers would go on board the helicopter to go there?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. In rotation, 3 helicopters flying the whole day.
Yeah. I know you as a photographer. You have, let's say, expanded your work field in doing other things. And what did you do on board, apart from photography?
Apart from photography, I listened a lot to the passengers, why they were here, because I'm very interested by the development of tourism in Antarctica, in the polar regions.
Yes.
And so on some ships, people say, we just want to go there to set foot on this place and then forget about it. On this ship, people were really interested and had like 40 different reasons why they came here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and were you also giving lectures on board this ship?
On this ship, I did not give lectures. Sometimes I do, but not on this ship. But yeah, we did this survey, and we talked with a lot of people, and joyful moments.
So during 33 days, you saw one ship?
Exactly.
Wow. So that being totally alone, I think you've experienced that.
Yeah, so we were like a long days at sea, without seeing anybody, but also without internet. So we were totally disconnected from the world. And in the beginning, this was for me like, oh my God, what is this going to do with me? But after 2 weeks, I said, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
To have no internet and to just enjoy the moment.
So if people at dinner are not distracted by smartphones, I guess you've had some very interesting talks with the guests on board.
Yeah, we were only 80 passengers and from all nationalities, and there was really a good mix. Like we sat with everybody at the restaurant, so it was a mix of people, and sometimes we were with person A and then person B, and so it was just like come and go, and we talked with everybody, and we made really friends as well.
Okay. And then going back to seeing just one vessel during 33 days, this is quite exceptional. There is maybe a misconception or a conception out in the media these days that, you know, this Arctic expedition, there's many ships going and all bringing all these tourists to vulnerable remote areas. If I listen to you, there is the quantity still seems to be very limited. It's a very...
Well, for Antarctica, of course, most ships, there are a lot of new ships, they all go to the peninsula, which is a small part, one of the most beautiful parts of Antarctica, but it's a small part compared to the vast continent, which is like 5,500 kilometers diameter, so it's really a huge continent.
Yes.
And they just sit in that little part. So, but there indeed you will have quite a lot of ships, but still you need like 20 expedition ships before you have one big cruise ship. So they are small.
Yeah, because this ship has 80 passengers. I know that some of the Ponant ships can take 200
Yeah,
guests.
180, something
180,
like that.
yes. So the numbers are very limited,
and also the companies, they are a member of IATO, which is an association for Antarctic tour operators, and they make rules. They are really very severe rules, so they avoid to have two ships at the same time. It's very strict what you can do and can't do, biosecurity. So it's a lot of things to take care of, and they do it with a lot of attention.
And what I also learned is that on all these ships there's always people, biologists and people on board that know those areas extremely well, know which impact humans can have or not, and the way to reduce it to the minimum, right?
Exactly. And for me, this is also part of the luxury on any expedition ship, to have a good team in the expedition team. Really people that know what they talk about. Like for instance, on this ship, we had a guy who is a specialist in penguins. His whole life he dedicated his work to penguins. He lived with penguins, and he was also the advisor for the movie Happy Feet.
Ah, okay.
So
Wow.
that kind of people, they have many stories, and they learn. We have also a glaciologist, and we learned so much. It was almost like a floating school.
The reason we got together for this interview is that you will, this year, will have the chance to go to the other pole, right?
Yes, and August I'm going to the North Pole with the Commandant Charcot from Ponant. And that's going to be totally different experience, because it's also frozen and ice.
Yes.
But it's not a continent. So Antarctica is a continent, and the North Pole is in the Arctic is ice, it's frozen sea.
Frozen sea.
So
yes.
it's totally, and that's something I really want to improve, is the knowledge and the importance of the polar regions for instance, the climate change is hugely important. But because it's so remote, people tend to forget that it's important.
So do you think that by you documenting both in photography and your personal experience in lectures, you want to make this, let's say, knowledge of the environment and of what's happening with our nature?
Exactly. So I work together with a good friend, Lynn de Rijk, who is an author of a fantastic travel book, an adventurer, and we created Polar Stories, which is an organization focusing on bringing the polar regions to the people and explaining in a positive way, look guys, look how beautiful it is, it's important to do something.
Exactly, very interesting.